Can you actually see my presentation?
Yes, we can now see your presentation.
Okay, I will just briefly introduce myself, just take a couple of minutes of your time. I'm Rachelle Cloete. I'm from GMP Traceability Management Software, founder member. We've been around in the industry for the past 17 years, and our primary focus is on traceability, identification, and how traceability can assist with food safety and food security. Let me just get this going. Oops, it is important to know, oh my goodness, Helene, can I change this this presentation? This is not the one that I wanted to use. My apologies for this. But it is all about the international standards and what a LITS system is all about. This is not the right presentation. Apologies for this. Let me just quickly get the right one going. Yeah.
Okay, you're welcome. You can change it and we will just wait for you.
Okay. Hopefully this time around, can you see the presentation now?
Can't see it yet.
Okay, let me try and do it again. Yes. Okay, let's try and share now. Maybe this is, apologies for this.
Okay, you're on the air now and we can see your presentation. Thank you.
At last. Okay, thank you for your patience, everybody. I just need to. I thought it would be valuable to contribute and discuss LITS, biosecurity and traceability, because it's all about market readiness and compliance. But as we all know in this industry, it is all about the health of the human being and the health of an animal. So the key focus is disease control. However, it is important that we look at how do we go about driving our wealth through the implementation of LITS and commercial traceability systems and compliance. The traceability LITS, can I maybe just go back and say, worldwide, the LITS systems are implemented by competent authorities. What is the competent authority? The competent authority is the veterinary services, depending on from country to country, their responsibility towards human health and the country to ensure that the animals in the country, the national herd, are healthy and that they are free of diseases such as zoonosis, which is transferable between the human and the animal and vice versa. World Health has got a concern that when we start working over borders from country to country, that the meat product or the food that we consumed is indeed safety. The other aspect that is required when implementing, and the reason for implementing a LITS system, is that we need to treat our animals humanely. And here I want to immediately go back to a topic of the day, which we are all aware of, is foot and mouth disease. Although foot and mouth disease is not contagious to humans, it is a terrible disease for the animal. The animal suffers. It affects the animal's productivity, production, reproduction, and it is a disease that spreads wildly. As we all know, you don't need a lecture on that. So to be able to be humane to the animals, and this is completely from a different angle, we need to know when an animal is infected, to stop the spread of the disease, and to assist that the animal is being treated, vaccinated, and that all of us are happy, and also to ensure that the consumer who consumes the meat are securely or insured, sorry about that, are assured of the fact that the animal was treated humanely, the food, the product is that they consumed is safe, and that we spread the stop the spreading of disease and containing this disease as soon as possible. Now, how do we go about, and what is LITS? LITS is an official system by the national authority. How does LITS work? It starts with individual identification or tagging of an animal, the registration of the animal on the national database, the compliance of biosecurity requirements to sell the animals through auctioneers. I will elaborate on this a little bit later. The importance of the on-farm management day-to-day, and how, without burdening the primary producer with additional paperwork, records keeping, how do you do it simultaneously, that by the end of the day, when the farmer has processed these animals, that the necessary information that is required by a LITS platform is already in place, and also by the tagging and the recording of the livestock on a farmer management system. How do these management systems at the end of the day through an API can communicate with your LITS system to make it acceptable and easy to use for the farmer on the ground? The LITS system key priority is disease control. The livestock identification and herd management. When it comes to worldwide animal health, the national traceability system is crucial, as all countries around the world use mainly the LITS system to protect their local herd. It is very important to say, while LITS is becoming a compulsory compliance and requirement, it would still be extremely important for the primary producer or the dairy farmer to know that it is his or her responsibility to maintain traceability and proper disease control at farm level or within their dairies. Because looking at the dairy industry, and you did have a lecture yesterday on the brucellosis or brucella, it is very important that you make sure that through your compliance of herd health management and applying traceability and unique identification, a disease such as brucellosis or brucella is managed with accurate information and with data integrity. The LITS system will provide a very, very, very good working tool for this, as the LITS system will consist of, it will start with a unique identifier. Now, all other countries, our neighboring countries, are already using some sort of traceabilities. It will start with a unique identification of the animal, with a unique tag, with a number, which is issued from a central database, which is the LITS database or LITS data platform. The reason why this is so important, if you look at the eNatus system for motor vehicles, it is exactly what needs to happen and what LITS will offer to the livestock industry. The number plate in a eNatus motor vehicle platform is similar to the eNatus, similar to the LITS unique EID a tag that will be issued. So this is how the process will work. LITS will supply to the farmer a unique electronic identification ear tag. This ear tag will be obtained through a very structured platform and process. All suppliers that want to manufacture the unique LITS electronic ear tag that we will need in the dairy to apply when you use a dairy table with electronic identifiers. In the past, you would purchase an electronic identifier of a specific standard and specification, apply it to the cow's ear, and this will read into your software program, and that is how your milk recording will take place. In a case where LITS is compulsory in a country, this commercial tag will be replaced by the official LITS tag supplied by the government. The government will have the electronic database whereby these numbers will be issued to the suppliers. They will manufacture the tags. They will report back and share the manufacturing codes that will be embedded on these specific tags with the national database, the LITS database, and then these tags will start flowing through the commercial sector by accredited resellers, which the government will approve. The reason for this is that when you have duplicate ear tags in a system like this, your data integrity will become corrupt and you will not be able to trace back to that specific ear tag the details. So if you do disease control, a central database, a unique ear tag issued from the LITS central database, distributed into the commercial sector, whereby the producer will have the choice of which commercial system or automated system they will be using, but they will use one single identifier on one animal. So this will become the animal's unique ID or unique print, almost similar to a motor vehicle registration number plate or a human identification number. You cannot have duplicate numbers. So that is the importance why LITS must have a central database issuing a unique number, and then the distribution will go through the commercial system. However, LITS will have specific requirements for disease control. It's important then, it will be the responsibility of the owner of the animal to actually upload and register each animal per the unique identification tag applied to the LITS system. The LITS system, the platform is way in advance of the development already. So it will enable or require a farmer or a livestock owner to register his personal details on the LITS platform. The farmer would, or the owner of the animal, would also be responsible to identify the address, the location of where the animal is being kept, and also need to upload, when a calf is born, to apply an official LITS tag to the animal and register that animal. There are a few fields that will be compulsory, like the age of the animal, the sex of the animal, the breed. They require the breed, and they will, in the future, there will be a lot of awareness campaigns towards what requirements will be needed for disease control purposes. In the case of FND currently, it is already rolling out, and it's been implemented in KZN, Limpopo, and Mpumalanga. In this case, with a outbreak like FMD, it works slightly differently. The government has got the veterinary service department and the authorized officials on the ground. They have got these tags that were ordered by the government, these unique numbers issued by government LITS platform. They go out to the field, they apply these tags, and in this instance, the veterinary service and extension officers are the people tagging these animals and recording the disease data, the vaccination data, onto the current LITS platform, and also making this available for the national department. It is a very controlled environment. There are various legislations, like the Act 35, where it is specifically stated that information such as disease control for controlled notifiable diseases, they are managed by officials of the competent authority. Hence, it is not commercial information floating around in the commercial field. It is controlled information that is important for the government. Now, the following functions are also managed by this, and I'll just recap quickly. If we say biosecurity activities, when the LITS system are in place and as it rolls out, certain biosecurity requirements will have to be entered into the LITS system related to, let's say, maybe FMD. It's like the movement of the animals, the standing days of the animals, the customer declarations. These are very important things that will circulate through the industry and which will become compulsory. In fact, the Act 12 of APAC is already compulsory in the regulation, as the regulation was published in September 2021, and we all know what the biosecurity requirements are prior to sending an animal to an auction or selling it to an abattoir. Let's talk about the data integrity of a national system. I've touched on it previously. We all know that it is very sensitive, and the POPI Act that is in place. So when information is being captured and collected from primary producers or owners of livestock, it is important that it is very structured and controlled and managed under the POPI Act, and also that we are at it, in this case, under Act 35, where certain disclosures needs to be made available to government in outbreaks. So the data integrity and who may see your data, the privacy of the information, who will work with your information is very important. So when it's announced that a livestock LITS traceability system is being rolled out, the immediate response by the owner of the animal is going to be, who's going to see my data? Why must I disclose the data? What insurance or assurance do I have that my data is not going to go on some commercial platform? For what reason must I submit my personal information, and what is my personal liability for not submitting the information? So it's important to assure the producer or livestock owner that the LITS system will be handled within legislation and compliance, that it will be handled completely confidential. It is for the purpose that it is submitted, which is disease control within the country, that it will be managed. And this is something that we need to assure everybody, that a LITS system is not a commercial platform going out there to get hold of your data, to sell your data. It is purely for the purpose, as per the Act 35, for disease control and disease management. There are commercial systems out in the field that offer traceability tools, which is being used. These systems are, some of them are running, some of these systems make available a platform for electronic transfer through the value chain for different role players. Some of these systems are for like in a feedlot environment, traceability is very important, and it is for almost like a management of the feedlot, which is for the purpose of commercial gain and the personal export compliances. So there are various levels of traceability, but I want to emphasize that a commercial traceability, which is voluntary, is purely for the farmer, specific development and financial benefit. However, going forward, commercial traceabilities are gearing up, that by means of an API make available information that is compulsory to the LITS platform, but that is still in early days and early development. A typical example is the ostrich industry. The South African Ostrich Chamber embarked on a traceability platform, which was according to the veterinary procedural notification as per the director of 2012. So they already using exactly what the LITS system require, and will, going forward, will then seamlessly by means of an API engage in the LITS system. It makes it easy for the consumer and for the industry, because a lot of the industry information, such as the animal's ID, the vaccinations, like in terms of the ostrich industry, has it been vaccinated for the Newcastle disease, the strict control for the movement of the animals. So this is typically something that will be compulsory on a LITS system. Then to avoid duplication, API, which is a communication protocol through the commercial platforms and LITS, will fall into place. So it's very important then that a phased approach will take place. It will start with the tagging of the animals with a very specific standard which the government has embarked on. It is the registration of all the farmers on the central platform of LITS, and then the on-farm management, the compliance to biosecurity, which is the APAC legislation, the standing days, the importance of the declaration of fit for human consumption. These things are now no longer happening in isolation, like in silos. LITS platform will open up a single platform whereby all these different compliance are being recorded to the single platform, and then this can be managed and monitored, duplication. It can help with stock theft because unique numbers tags is now being compulsory going forward. All the large animals, our cattle, will be tagged. And then the traceback will be more easy. If there's an outbreak, if all the animals are tagged on the LITS system, they arrive at an auction house. The auctioneers will record all the animals on the day. It is recorded to the national LITS database. There's a problem at a feedlot with an outbreak, they can trace back to the auctioneer exactly which animals on that specific day were present and where do they originate from and where did they come from. And basically, that is in a nutshell. If there's any questions, I will gladly answer. I hope that this contributed to some in more awareness of LITS is a very important platform. It is important for us to participate. We can assure you that the LITS is not a commercial issue because I know there's a lot of fear from farmers who think that LITS is just going to take the information, to share the information with SARS or with commercial or sell their data. It is not the case. It is very important that to the interest of our national herd health and for security of our food, safe food and economical growth and wealth, that we change, maybe do a paradigm shift and support the LITS because it's to our industry's benefit. So from my side, if there's any questions, you're more than welcome.
Thank you, Rachelle. We will just wait for some questions. I just wanted to ask, this LITS stelsel, LITS system, sorry, will it be subsidized by government, especially if you think about our developing community?
Thank you, Ellen. The LITS platform currently is being developed by, on behalf of DELROD, by the CSIR, and it's been funded by specific funding allocated for that specific reason, for that specific purpose. The LITS system, the base system, which is the system whereby the farmer will register the location and the animal, and certain vaccination and disease animal and movement need to be uploaded. That is a platform owned by DELROD, and it will be managed by DELROD ICT, and it will be made available on electronic, so via the internet, for farmers to log in and register. I am not sure if there's going to be, going forward, commercial contribution that will be required, although I can say, although the government is the custodian of the LITS database, so I assume that they will maintain and keep the system going, but it will be required of the producer to purchase their identification devices, which is the electronic tags prescribed by government. It's the same as Botswana and Namibia. The system, the platform is managed by government, but the farmer has got the responsibility to tag his animals, therefore purchase. And also if the farmer chooses to use electronic reader, that will be for the account. But I stand to be corrected. That is my interpretation of how the cost will be shared.
Okay, thank you. We've got another question here. What kind of resistance is recognized? This system will give accurate animal registry in country, but will expose all or most tax evasion.
Yes, this is a very good question. It is a question that we've come across all over the world, and all the countries starting to implement a traceability system. This is the very first thing. Will the government share my information with tax evasion? The LITS platform is not the platform that is designed and developed to show or point out commercial irregularities. The LITS platform is the collection of data regarding the owner, the location, the animal, and the animal's disease status, which will enable the competent authority and veterinary service to respond timeously or rapidly when there is an outbreak, because they will know exactly how many animals are in which area, where are these animals supposed to be, have they been moved legally or illegally, have they moved from a protection zone to a free zone. So the LITS system is not a system to point out commercial wealth or who owns what to SARS. And that's also to my personal knowledge.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? You are also welcome to use the raise your hand button or icon. Okay. Okay, this person say apologies if she missed it, but what kind of tag is used? Is it an ear tag, and will there be different types of ear tags or chips or parameters used in future?
Yeah. Thank you. That is a very important question as well. The current ear tag that's been used by the department is an ICAR approved tamper evident non-reusable ear tag. Now, if I can maybe just fill in, I'm not sure if everybody is aware of it, but ICAR is the international body that regulates the issuing of all electronic ear tag numbers. They are also the watchdog on the quality of the ear tags. So if you say an ICAR approved ear tag, it will be the following standard. It will be a tamper evident, non-reusable tag. The electronic tag will contain a transponder number, which is the electronic number in the ear tag. It is on a register with ICAR to avoid duplication of the ear tags, so you can rest assured they are unique. The actual ear tag, the locking mechanism, and the quality of the ear tag is also certified by ICAR, so it goes through very strenuous tests. Internationally, all countries that are using a LITS system are using based on the ICAR standards. Now, the ICAR standards, maybe just for the sake of the dairy, it's important to also understand that the ICAR, the tags that the government currently use is on the ISO standard 11784 and 5. This is to ensure the frequency of the tags is in the band of 134.2 kilohertz. Why are we using this as a government? Why are they using it? That the reader standards are therefore being put in place. If you have an ICAR approved ear tag, which the government has set the standard, the ISO readers, the 1185, will read the specific ear tag. You will understand when a country does not have a set standard. I buy my tags from somewhere else. It's not on the reader frequency. It's fine for me when I use it on my farm. But the minute when the veterinary services wants to come and do a disease control, say they want to come and do testing for brucella, they want to do blood tests, they want to scan, then the frequency of the tags are not the same. So he will rock up there with 6 different readers and might not have the right reader. The standard is being set by Delrod. It's an ICAR approved ISO standard, what they are very aware of and which they've taken into consideration. In the dairy industry, when you use an electronic identifier, EID tag, on your milk tables, some of the milk tables only work on the HDX, and they will know exactly what I mean by that, because there are 2 options, the FDX communicator or HDX, way the tags communicate. But rest assured, the government is supplying an HDX tags. So when you buy your button or your Livestock electronic ear tag, it will work on your milking tables, because they have used the ICAR standards, and they are very strict and not negotiable about that. At the moment, they've also gone through the selection of a tag, which they call a combo tag. It is a button, as you all know it, with a leaf at the bottom, and the last 7 digits or 8 digits of your EID transponder, although it's laser marked on the button, it also appears on the visual part of the tag. So when you are not using an electronic reader, but you're on the LITS system, you can still comply by visually entering those visual numbers of the ear tag into the LITS system, or for that matter, use it in your own software on farm. The colors, there are 3 colors. There are pink, green, and yellow. Yellow is for the free or high surveillance zone. That's for the rest of the country, which the commercial farmers will use. And then we have the pink and green tags. Those tags will not be available commercially. They will only be made available through the disease control teams, which is veterinary services, because they represent the animals with vaccination or infected animals in the different zones. So they are controlled by government. But the yellow tags are available in commercial, but they are issued from the LITS central database.
Okay, thank you. And is there any possibility that this LITS system can help with stock theft in future?
Yes, I think that it is the ideal platform. Let's go from an auditing perspective. If you are a livestock owner and you are registered with a brand mark office, and you have your brand registration, the LITS system also requires that you submit your LITS brand mark, your brand identification, your brand mark. It's also submitted to LITS. So you can see that the brand identification, your brand mark, which is currently the legislation for identification of animals, is on the LITS platform. And then surely it could be that they would be prepared to share information between the LITS database and the brand mark database. And then, yes, if you are now receiving a LITS issued tag, so they know it's your tag is registered on the LITS system to a specific animal. They find that animal next or where it should not be. It should be able to verify, and yes, it would definitely play a role in stock theft, because going forward is all animals must be tagged. with the official tag, and that tag belongs to a specific owner. If that animal is now on a truck being transported with your section 6 and 8 document, and it does not tie up with who the owner is in the back end, because the tag will be able to be verified against the database by people that's got authorization. Not everybody will be able to access the database if they don't have the official authority on to be able to access. It's also important that we need to know, currently we all use commercial tags, and going forward, the open, let's just quickly, maybe this is an important point that I've missed on short notice. Currently, we are using electronic identification devices, specifically in the dairy industry. It is an open-ended button, which some of the producers take, remove and reuse. This will not be able to be done in a LITS system. You cannot duplicate the identification of an animal. So going forward, your LITS identification tag will only be the LITS one officially issued by LITS. However, if you have other management tags that you are currently using, you don't have to get rid of them. You can continue using them for your on-farm management. But in your software or on your accounting system, you can link your official compulsory LITS tag to your management tag. And then you feel free to remove your management tag. Like when you're using an ultra high frequency tag, remove it. But you are not allowed to remove the ID, the LITS identifier. That needs to go through the value chain up to slaughter. That is an official tag and has to remain on the animal. It's your choice which commercial tags you want to use in conjunction with your LITS tag, but that is the best how to go about to prepare for the official LITS rollout.
Okay, thank you. And then will there be a decommission system when an animal is slaughtered or dead or sold? And will the system include the identification of animals with control diseases such as TB or CA?
The exact purpose of the LITS system is for the competent authority, the veterinary service, to have that data on hand in a central database, that when an animal is verified against the LITS database, the officials will be able to see that this is an animal coming from an infected zone. This is an animal that was vaccinated. This is an animal that's got a positive CA test or a positive TB test that was uploaded. So it will work on exactly the same principle as the motor vehicle number plate. When the authorized people run the number plate, the vehicle number plate. Now we run cattle ear tag, which is our number plate. It will open up on the system of the SAPS or Inatus everything that relates, that was uploaded to that animal. And this will enable a fast response to an outbreak animal that's in an area where it should not have been. So the system will allow complete movement of the animal, because as the animal, I buy my animal, I register it with my LITS tag. Now I'm selling it to Helene or to Helen. Helen is now going to register that animal on the LITS database that she received the animal, and I'm going to dispatch that animal and I'm going to upload the information to LITS that I've disposed of that animal and it's moved off my farm. So it will have a change, a status change as it manages through, whether it's a status of movement between location or a status of disease changes. That is the specific motivation. It will also have the status that an animal has been slaughtered. So it's end of life. It will close the record and it will stay on the system going forward for almost the same as what we do with our compulsory record keeping for SARS. We've got to maintain the physical records. It is very similar to that.
Okay. Thank you, Rachelle. I just want to ask, when do you foresee this whole list system to be in place?
Although the government already embarked on the LITS system with a draft document, I think it was in 2017, stand to be corrected, the fact that the FMD disease it got almost, I don't want to say out of control, but I want to say out of control. It is imperative that we, with great urgency now, contain the spreading of the disease. And we can only do this once we know who all the farmers are, where are the locations that the animals has been kept, have we tagged all the animals in the whole country, not only in the disease control area, that we can have it on a central platform, that we are aware of which animals are vaccinated, because in a case where an animal has been vaccinated for FMD and it moves and we do not know that that specific animal has been vaccinated, it goes through a blood test and then it can show markers of FMD, which could incorrectly be interpreted depending on which test you are doing, that it could be a potential FMD outbreak. So it's important that we know these are the animals, these have been vaccinated, these are the clean animals, and that these animals are where they should be. But you can only manage if you know where are the animals, who do they belong to, where are they supposed to be, what is their disease status. And for that, we need a platform that issues the unique central numbers. We all participate, contribute, and we work towards our own benefit. This is not a benefit to the government or to the veterinary service. It's to our on-farm personal benefit, your rand cent. Because if you are thinking of exporting, it's your responsibility to on-farm prove that this is what happened to the animal, this is what I've done, this is the perfect reproduction detail of this animal if I want to sell it at a good price. So the LITS system is to the country's benefit and to each and individual farmer in the country. I would strongly promote that we open our minds and take a positive mind shift and say, let's go with this.
Rachelle, thank you so much for your very, very informative presentation, and once again also that you agreed to do it on such a short notice. It is highly appreciated. And then we also have another comment here saying, thank you so much. This is 1,000 steps in the right direction. So thank you.
Helen, thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. And as I say, I'm available in future if there's time that we can plan very specifically and share more information. But the importance here is to get the exact information out to our primary producers, let them make informed decisions, that they plan that when the LITS is officially enforced, that it's not an overnight, everybody is running around. Let's use the opportunity to engage in almost getting self-regulated by the time the LITS system is official, that our producers, our dairy farmers are already implementing this on a day-to-day process. And we've seen that in the ostrich industry. Just in closing, you know, overnight, I want to say overnight, the VPN came. And what did they have to comply to? Official tag as LITS, manufactured, supplied to the authorized resellers, to the authorized authority. Only authorized officials may apply those tags. When you want to move on 4 months, the animal, the vaccination of the ostriches with the Newcastle compliance. Once it's vaccinated, a vaccination certificate has to be issued. That certificate needs to go back to the department. It goes back to SAOBC for veterinary services. Before you move the animal, you've got to apply for a movement permit. Before you do that, you apply for a slaughter date. When you have a slaughter date, you apply for a movement date. 21 days prior to movement, you've got to apply for a blood test to be taken for the avian influenza. Those blood results and a lot of other compliance need to be adhered to on a specific. When you receive your approved vaccination, your approved movement, but before the movement certificate is issued, a health attestation must be signed off by veterinary service. Then you may move your animals on the specific day, only the animals that is on that movement permit to the designated abattoir. Now, LITS is not in place, but that is typical a process that will be followed for disease control. It's not for, don't get scared by thinking you've got to get movement permits. I'm referring specifically to a disease control environment. Now, the ostrich industry, they are ready. When LITS officially roll out and say, we need this information, we will do an API, and it's already done. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, dairy farmers, veterinarians, animal officials, everybody on this meeting today, I plead with you that let's have an open mind. It is a big industry. Let's work towards our own wealth and our country's safety, and let's open up markets that are lucrative. Not all of us are going for export markets, but there are the local markets, that niche markets. Let's get ourselves ready by means of traceability and compliance and identification and record keeping. Let's get ready. Thank you. Thank you, Elian.
Thank you, Rachelle. Thank you so much for your time and your presentation. It's much appreciated. You've added a lot of value today. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.